Well, we're learning more about monkeypox every day between splitting doses and cases in children. There are a lot of questions still about it.
Dr. Philip Ross, the Chief Medical Officer at Mountain Star Healthcare, is here to answer some of those for us. He's the expert. Good morning, Dr. Ross.
Good morning.
So, we started talking about monkeypox way before it was even in vogue in Utah. So kind of remind us what it is and what it has to do with monkeys.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. We talked about monkeypox, about 2 months ago, when there were barely 2 cases suspected in Utah. And now it's a public emergency. So it is a viral disease. It's caused by a virus that is similar to a smallpox virus. It is predominantly causes a skin rash that is very, very painful. And it's fairly moderate disease, and it's unlikely to cause death. But it is something to be taken seriously.
Why monkeys, though?
They have poor things. They have nothing to do with it. So
poor monkeys.
Historically, the disease was identified in Central and West Africa, and it's most likely in some small mammals as a reservoir. And people that had contact with these animals got it. In 1970 was the first human case identified. This time around is the first time we're actually seeing a human-to-human transmission. And again, monkeys are not the reservoir in nature. I don't know why it ended up being a monkeypox, but it's just the way it is.
But it is.
Well, let me ask you this. We're talking about back to school. We're talking about vaccinations. Are children at risk? Is this something that parents should consider getting their children vaccinated against?
So I think the answer is no. Look at it, out of the 7,000+ cases in the United States, there are only 2 pediatric cases identified. That is less than 0.1%. So kids are really not in a high danger. And therefore, I think that the vaccination for them at this point is not something to consider.
So who should be getting vaccinated at what point? Is there post-exposure prophylaxis or anything like that? Or what do we do?
Well, I think the most important thing is to look at currently who are the most likely, or who is the most likely group of people getting infected. We know that the median age is about 36, from 20 to 76, mostly males, and mostly males that had a prolonged intimate contact with other males or multiple partners. And that is the group that is at risk, at the highest risk, and should be vaccinated.
And what about splitting doses? We're hearing about that. Is it effective, and why are we needing to do this?
Well, that's an actually interesting point. So the current 2 vaccines, one is a single dose, one is a 2-dose vaccines. That's the one predominantly used right now. They're delivered through an injection under the skin. We now, and we're just about to get an announcement from FDA, that if you give 1/5 of the dose into the skin, you can get the same immune response, which allows us to really have a 5 times as much supply for vaccines, and which will allow us to vaccinate more people at risk.
Really quickly, is there enough supply then?
Well, I think that if we are able to split a dose in 5, we should be able to vaccinate most of the high-risk population.
And we can stop talking about monkeypox, huh?
Well, hopefully. That's the goal.
All right, Dr. Ross, thanks a lot for coming in today. As always, appreciate your expertise.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.